Okay, looking back to Week 10, the San Diego Chargers lose to the Miami Dolphins with the score of 24-31. And Phillip Rivers in the fourth quarter seemingly blows the game with 4 fourth-quarter interceptions. What is going on with Phillip Rivers?
Honestly, it was just a bad game. I mean, this is the guy that leads his team to the end every single game, gets all those backup players that are covering for all the injured receivers going. This is the guy that fires up the locker room. And then there's people out there that claim to be Charger fans that just want to say, it's time to move on from Phillip Rivers after bad games like this. It's ridiculous.
But this isn't just the first bad game that he had. He had a bad game last game. I mean, I saw him throw that game-losing pick in the fourth quarter the game before. Is this a trend?
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think his receivers aren't on the same page as he is in a lot of the times during the game.
But who's to blame for that?
The coaching.
So back to Mike McCoy.
Mike McCoy, yeah.
You think Mike McCoy's going to last the year?
I really don't think so. But I mean, that all depends if they can. Okay, look, I really don't think that they're going to win out this whole season.
No.
I really don't.
There's no way they're leapfrogging any of those three teams.
I'm a huge Charger fan, and I would love to speak positive in every way possible about this team, but there is no way that they're going to win out all those games. Look, so, I mean, in reality, Mike McCoy he's only had one playoff appearance with the team since he's been there. I don't really think it's gonna last with the Chargers and Mike McCoy anymore.
You can't expect him to turn this around. He would have turned it around by now, regardless of the injuries. Good teams find a way to turn it around.
And I thought that's how this season was going, because how we started with the injuries so early, and you started seeing these guys come up, and the energy was getting better. I think like every game you started to see more chemistry between backups or the backups, calling the plays.
They stepped up.
They stepped up big time, I think.
They stepped up. But the thing is, again, is Phillip Rivers the problem? I mean, is he not is he the problem? Because I think we all know he's not the problem, but is he the future? I mean, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah,
are they going to turn this around on time for him to be the quarterback that takes you back into the playoffs?
That team's just got to stay healthy in the next couple years, and that's all they got. I mean, I don't know how long Phillip Rivers can last as a quarterback, being roughed up so much. That offensive line has its issues still, especially the right side. Joe Barksdale, the right tackle, he is horrible. I think every Charger fan out there right now would love to get rid of Joe Barksdale. If that's Von Miller on that side coming at him, right. That's Sack City all the time for, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs have a great rush. Pass rush.
Yeah.
So you see those teams twice a year. So you see your quarterback getting beat up. He's not going to last. Eventually he's going to go down. He's gotten pretty lucky, actually. He's got hurt a couple years ago, but he was able to play through it still, but he's only getting older, though.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're being a reasonable Charger fan. You're not just being the average Charger fanboy that thinks they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What are the prospects of them being a better team next year? Obviously, you think they're going to make a coaching change, and I think the biggest factor would be, who's the coach, right? I mean, that's your number one question.
Yeah.
But we can't answer that yet. But we can answer the talent that they're going to have next year. Players are going to get healthy.
Yeah.
Who's going to come back and make a difference next year? But before we even get to the players that could possibly make a difference, let's look at the young talent that they have right now. Melvin Gordon has improved from his rookie season.
Big time.
He laid a big egg when it came to touchdowns, and now he's leading the league in touchdowns. You have a tight end that they found in Hunter Henry. Antonio Gates is getting up there in age, and he might have another year left, but Hunter Henry's going to step in, and that's somebody that I feel like Phillip Rivers really counts on. He really knows he could depend on him.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers loves Hunter Henry. You could tell just when he speaks for him on, when they're having the press conference after like the practice or a game, and he talks about him like highly. Even talking about how his father would say that this guy's a football player. Phillip Rivers talking about his father saying like, hey, he would call good players football players. He said that's what he said, and he called Hunter Henry a football player.
Right.
He said this guy just understands it. He's a rookie, and he looks like he's like a 5-year veteran out there.
Yeah, obviously Hunter Henry is one of those rare players that has earned Phillip Rivers' respect. But you know who's earned my respect? Joey Bosa on that defense.
Yeah, Joey Bosa's a beast.
What have you seen from Joey Bosa that gives you hope for the Chargers defense going forward?
I think Joey Bosa started off really good. I mean, he had those 4 sacks, and I think his best game was against the Raiders when he first came in. That game he had against the Raiders was great. I don't know if it's just because no one could really game plan for him yet, so he was really getting in there.
Yeah.
You know, he got Derek Carr pretty messed up that game, but he opens up more opportunities for other guys like Melvin Ingram too. Melvin Ingram's having a good season now that Joey Bosa's right there, right behind him. I mean, in front of him, opening up those holes, pushing guys down to the ground, and even here comes Ingram with the sack. You know.
Yeah.
So there's definitely he's brought the pressure.
Yeah. Definitely.
San Diego's they get to the quarterback. They might not get the sack sometimes, but they're making those quarterbacks
as long as you
throw
can affect
though.
the quarterback and make him throw before he wants to. I mean, that's all you can really ask from your defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what I want to get to before we end here is where do you see the Chargers this year? Right now, after 10 games, they're sitting at 4-6. They have 6 games left on their schedule. What record do you see the Chargers finishing with?
Man, you know what? It's. I would, like I said, I would love to see this team just like how Eric was saying. He thinks that they're going to win out this season.
Yeah, but
Eric
obviously doesn't know what he's talking about.
I love to hear that that optimism from him, but I honestly really think they're going to lose a couple games out of this last 6.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say 2 games, and I can't even say who. I'm just gonna say because I mean they lost to Indy, who they look like a whatever team.
Yeah.
They lost to Indy.
They're not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination.
New Orleans, that was a game where I was like, oh, maybe
I thought you guys won that
maybe
game.
New Orleans is gonna win this one, but then, and like I said, I was at that game, dude, and I saw how the turnovers affected that game. And I could see the turnovers happening again sometime in some random game, maybe against the Browns. Who knows?
You think that they can give up that game to the Browns?
That is the one game that I just am. That's the one. That's the one game where I'm like, oh my god, like that's
your biggest fear.
Yeah, are we gonna give the Browns their first win? That is the one thing I don't want to see.
Let me tell you something. If for some chance, by some hook or by some crook, they should lose the game to the Cleveland Browns. If I was a Charger fan, I'd be calling for Mike McCoy's head the next day.
Yeah.
The very next day.
That would be the final straw, right? I mean, even because we still got the Chiefs after that. But if you lose to the Browns,
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Season's over.
Yeah.
Game over. Done. Data. Get this guy out of town.
It's only going to look worse though if that's the first win they get.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be.
Haven't won
they're going to look at Mike McCoy like he is the most ultimate, and he's already kind of a joke. But I mean, they're going to give him the. I think they'll probably boot him after that game. Probably.
Bottom line is Mike McCoy's run his course, and it looks like the Chargers are just looking at getting healthy and getting some good draft picks, good quality draft picks, and hoping for next year.